Good morning, dear students, and welcome back to the geography class. And today, this is the last part of this second chapter, population dynamics. And as I explained you up to here about the immigration and immigration, in previous class, I have started this composition of population, but because of the bad quality of video, so again let me explain it, and let's start here with the composition of population. So if you remember here, I explained you the population actually is composed of different factors. So this composition, when we talk about the population composition, this population composition actually that tells about the description of population, or you can say the classification of population, either age wise or sex wise. Sex wise means male and female, or maybe urban or rural population, means the population in the villages and cities. So, and another thing, between the literate and illiterate population. So we will see the different composition. And let's see here first of all about the sex ratio. So as you can see here on your screen, and it is shown here first of all the sex ratio. Now what is the sex ratio? The sex ratio is the ratio of men and women, and this sex ratio is taken out by different ways. In some countries, as you can see, this sex ratio is been calculated by using the formula as you can find here. The male population is divided by the female population and multiplied by 100. So this usually is used in some European countries. But in India, we use a different method. Now in India, the sex ratio is taken out by when the female population is divided by the male population and it is multiplied by 100. So this ratio, number of females per 1000 males, this is the ratio which has been used in our country, India. Now in our country, if you find in India, the female population usually is less than the male population. But in some European countries, Western countries, you will find the female population is more than the male population. So this is why the different method is being used in the countries, in those countries where the female population is more. So there the ratio is taken as the number of males per 1000 female. But the country like in India and Bangladesh and neighboring countries, in all these Asian countries, usually the population of female is less, and so here the number of female is taken per 1000 male. So this is the two ways by which the sex ratio is calculated. Now if you will find here in the countries, especially in the Asian countries, you will find in the African countries also, because usually these countries, they are kept into the group of the developing countries, and still the condition of women, the females, is not so good. As you can find in these countries, the conditions are very, very unfavorable for the women's, and there is a gender discrimination is a very, very common thing, and so many practices. Example, the practice of female feticide, female infanticide. Now what do you mean by the female feticide? Female feticide means usually there are some families, they want usually the male child, so they just check when the baby is in the womb of mother, and when they come to know that there is a girl child, so they used to abort the child, and this is called female feticide. Female infanticide means when the girl childs usually they are killed. Now this is not common in the cities, but still in the tribal people. Tribal means very in the tribal places, right, in very interior parts of the forest, the tribal people still live in India. So in these tribal people still this female infanticides is very common. So usually they kill the girl child when they come to know that the girl is born, and many of them they kill the girl child. At the same time, the domestic violence against women is also very common, not only in our country but even in many countries, even in the developed countries also. It has been noticed that this violence against the female or the women is very common. Now let's see here some more thing. Now one thing has been seen actually, that about the socio-economic structure, the status of women in the developed and developing countries. Now usually the socio and economic status also depends upon the condition of women in the different countries, because if you find the women actually they usually contribute more than the males, and they are very much hardworking, much dedicated for their work. And this is why in the developing countries, in most of the offices, in the industries, in the different sector, usually there is a more demand for the female workers. Now because most of the female workers, it has been noticed that they are much hardworking, they are more honest, and they are more laborious. So these are the things actually. The female workers, they are usually are given more chance there. Well, the thing is here, in the developing countries, usually what happens here, usually the females in the very backward places, still in some families you can find the women's usually they are not allowed to work, and still they used to live in the house as a housewife, and they just used to carry the household work. And here usually we will find the economic condition also, especially when we take the economic condition of different families. When we take the example of one family where both the man and the women, both the husband and wife, when they both are working, so what happens, their financial condition is much better than the families in which only a male member is working. So they are getting only one salary, and usually the female actually are at house, and they are usually contributing in the household work. So this is the thing actually. We can find this economic status means the financial condition in each family, in different families. When we just notice it, we'll find it. So this is the difference. So the same thing we will find in the countries, especially in the developed countries, the condition of women actually are much better than the developing countries, and because of that also the economic and the social status of those countries are much better than the developing countries. This is also one most important factor for the growth of these countries, some of the very developed countries like some of the European countries and American countries. Now the next composition we'll see about the age composition. So here you will find here what is the age composition. Now usually when the population is categorized according to the age, now this classification can be done by the different method. In one method, the population can be categorized or classified according to the 5-year age difference. Now example, from 0 to 5 there is a first category, then 6 to 10 there is another second category, 11 to 15 this is the third category. So like this actually, of every 5 years age group actually the population is classified and according to this actually the study has been done. But The most common method actually of the classification usually is done, in which the population actually is classified in three categories. So you can find here in table 2.3. The first category is 0 to 14 years, in which usually this population is called child population. Then 15 to 64, this usually population is called working population, or this is actually the workforce. And then the population or the people above 65 years age. Now they usually are kept into the third category, and they are known as old age population. So these are the three most important classification being done, that is in the age composition. So we'll find here actually, usually when you take the example of the child population, so usually the child means the children under 14 years age, they don't work. So they are the unproductive population. At the same time, the people above 65 years age, usually they get retired, and then they are dependent upon their children. And this population also is kept into the category of the unproductive population. So there is only one category, that is the age group between 15 to 64. This is the only group actually which is known as the productive population. As you can find here, it is given here workforce. So like this actually, the population can be categorized into two main categories, that is unproductive population, and second category is the productive population. Well, so this is usually done, this age composition. According to the age composition, usually this population study is been done. For the population study, we also, there is one more term, we call it demographic studies. Demographic means this is known as population. Population is also called demographic. Well, now next is actually, usually if you find there is some more methods are applied for the study of the working population. Now recently actually, now even the population actually is again, this working population again is categorized into different sectors. Example, there is another one sector, agricultural sector, means the people who are engaged in farming, in agriculture. So that sector is called agricultural sector. Then there is the industrial sector, the people actually, the population which are working in factories, right, or in some industries. So they are called the industrial sector. Then the people who are engaged in the transportation business, so they are kept into the another category, transportation sector. Then there are the people actually who are engaged in some business, or maybe the shop or different type of business, small and big business. So they are kept into the another category, that is called business class. Then there is one more category in which the people are, there are people working in the schools as a teacher, doctors and the nurses, and there are so many different sectors together. So they are together, one more sector is formed, and we call it service sector. Means the sector actually which provides service in different ways. So in this way also, this population, the working population, again can be categorized. Now usually this is done actually so that the proper study can be done. Now next, let's move to the, and let's see here the age composition, the percentage of the population in the different age composition. And there is one table given here, table 2.4. this is given here, it shows about the age composition in India. There is one column shows about the age composition of 2001, another shows about 2011. Now in 2001, the population between 0 to 14, that is the child population, was 29.3%. But in 2011, this population increases and it became 31.2%. So there is a slight increase in this population. Then again, between the 15 to 64, that is the working population, in 2001, this forms about 65.1% of the total population. Now if you see in 2011, this population slightly drops down and it became 63.5. Then again 63 plus, 65 plus means the people actually under the retired people, old people, old age population. Now here actually this is misprint, actually it should be 65 plus. So in 2001 the old age population was 5.6, but what happened in 2011? It slightly decreased, it became 5.3. Well, so this is the age population, age composition. You can find in the two different decades, 2001 and another 2011. Now next we are going to see about the rural population, rural and urban population distribution. Now rural population means the people who are living in the village, they are called the rural population. And before the independence, more than 70% people were living in villages. So I am just telling you the 70%, but actually they are much more than 70%. So it was about 80%, around 80% people were living in village, and only 20%, that is maybe it is less than 20%, were living in the cities. Well, and as the time progresses with every decade, so with the industrial revolution started and it came to India also, so slowly and slowly the people from the village, they started migrating towards the towns and the cities. So this was what happened because of this migration. Why this migration started? Because of the industrialization and urbanization. Industrialization means when the industrial revolution was introduced in India, new factories were established here, and they need the workforce to work, and so they need the labor, and they started hiring the people. So for the better job, the people, they started leaving their village, and they just started migrating to the cities and the towns to get the better job in these factories. And when the people, they started migrating to the towns and the cities, what happened? These small villages, first of all, small towns started developing into the bigger town. Then they started developing into the cities. Then the small cities started developing into the bigger cities. Bigger cities started developing into the Mahanagar, and Mahanagar started developing into the metropolitan cities. Well, now this is actually example of urbanization. Urbanization means when the cities, they started just increasing their territory, so that is called urbanization. So, and you can find the example, one very very good example we can take of our city, Gorakhpur. Now in 1990, still I remember, between Basharatpur and Medical College, both the side of the road, there were many agricultural land. So, and also this road actually was vacant. Traffic was very very nil, very less, very few car or the bus or you can find on these roads. So it was very means less population. But with the time, right, so what happened? Slowly and slowly many colonies developed. All these agricultural land, they all developed into the big residential colonies. And now at present, if you will find, this is to 2020, so from 1990 to 2020, that is about 30 years. So in 30 years you can find the whole scenario, the whole picture between the Basharatpur and this medical college has changed. Now you can find there are so many, several colonies have been established and large number of people are living here. But at the same time you can find there is so many markets have been developed along the roads. There are so many shops are there. So this is a one good example we can take as for the urbanization. Well, now let's move to the next topic here. So usually one thing you will find in the developing and the developed countries. In the developed countries means in United States of America or Canada, or maybe the countries like Britain, Spain, France. So these are the developed countries. In these countries you will find actually most of the population, about 80% population usually live in the cities, big cities, and the population which lives in the village actually is very very less. Very less means in America, in United States of America, actually this population actually is about less than 10%. Well, this is a one difference, but you will find in the developing countries like in India. Now in India, if you see here, there is one data is given here. In India, in year 2011, about 68.84% people actually, the population were living in the rural. Rural means in villages. And in cities in 2011, the population was only 31.16%. So we can just make it in a round figure, so we can say that it is only 30%. And this also, if we just make it in a round figure, it will be a 70%. So in just 2011, you can find 70% people, they were living where? In the rural areas in India. So now only the 10 years now has passed. So we can't expect means more people here, more than 30% people, 31% people. Maybe it has increased, became 33 or 34, maybe 35, but I think not more than that. So still actually this scenario has not been changed so much. And large number of people in India, and if you see this in Bangladesh or Nepal, you will find there is a large number of people still living in the villages. So in the cities actually the percentage of people is very very less. Now this is the difference between the developed and developing countries. Now in the countries like I told you, like in Canada. In Canada actually Canada actually is a very very cold country, and there are about more than 90% people, they live in the cities. So very very few people usually live in the remote areas, in the villages, in the rural areas. So that is the difference between developed and developing countries. In developing countries, still large number of people are living in the rural areas, and the urban population is less. But in the developed countries, the urban population is much higher than the rural population. Now next composition, we are going to see about the literacy rate. Now according to the literacy, population again can be categorized into two categories. That is the literate population and illiterate population. Now what do you mean by the literates? Literate means the person who can read and write. But actually nowadays, if we just see this meaning of the literacy, that is much more than that. Not only reading and writing the name and reading some lines is not actually sufficient. Now at present actually we just talk about the skilled and unskilled population. Skilled means the people actually who are being skilled in some particular work. They can actually carry some type of special work. Now they are called skilled population, like the teachers, doctors, lawyers. Even in the industries there are so many people, they are being skilled actually to just do some special kind of work. This is why there are some colleges like ITI, then there is a polytechnic and engineering colleges. For what happened here? So here the students actually, they get education in technical training. They get the technical training in different way at the different level. In ITI usually what happen, they just they just develop the skill, and so that they can just work in a factory as a labor. Now actually all the factories, they don't actually require the labor actually who are unskilled. So every factory, the first demand for them actually, they need the skilled labor. That's why they usually prefer the laborers or the students who usually have completed ITI or polytechnic. Now engineering, after engineering what happened? The people, they get job in the factories. Well, they get the much higher rank, but still. So this is the example of the skilled labor. Now usually in all the classes, in every sector, now there is a demand for the skilled population. Now that is the very much difference. In developed countries you will find the literacy rate is much higher. When we talk about the literacy rate, now if you find here, there is an example of USA. Now in USA the literacy rate, you can find it is 97%. In France it is 99%. In Japan you can find it is very high, 99%. So here these developed countries you can find they are having almost 100% literacy. This 1% actually even they know how to read and write. So this 99% or 97% that tells that these people actually they are much literate than what we know about the literacy. Means the literate means the person who can read and write. So usually these percentage of people in France and Japan and in USA, they are actually much more than this definition of literacy or literates. Now same thing if you find in India, you will find here, look here, in literacy rate in India is very low. Now in India, according to the 2011 census, the literacy rate was 74.04%. Now that is much lower if we compare to this USA, France and Japan. And in India, usually when we talk about literates, so in India the definition of literacy or literate means a person who can read and write. A person who can read actually his name and he or she can write their name. So that person, male or female, they can be called as literates. But it's not there in the countries like in USA, France and Japan. So here the literacy rate, what you can see here, 74%. So actually it is not a correct data. Now when we talk about the skilled population, means the population, the working class population who have been skilled in particular areas, they have developed some skill. So if you find this percentage will just get down, you will find it is very, very low. Now if you compare it in the country like in Bangladesh, look here, in Bangladesh if you see the literacy rate is only 56.8%. that is according to 2011 census. Now that is much less than not only India but also USA, France and Japan. Well, in India itself if you find there is a vast difference. Now there are some states like in Kerala, Mizoram. Now they are much higher literacy rate. Like in Kerala, usually it is called, just recent data actually, it tells that Kerala has 99% literacy. Well, but the data tells us that Kerala has 93.9% literacy, Mizoram has 91.6% literacy. At the same time, if you will find the literacy rate in Bihar, that is the lowest, 63.8% only. Now this is the difference in our country state-wise, and the same thing you can find in the development in these states. The Bihar, where you can find the literacy rate is lowest. So one more thing you can find about the development in Bihar. Development even in Bihar is very slow if you compare it to the other states like in Delhi. In Delhi actually literacy rate is much higher. In Kerala or in Mizoram you will find the literacy rate is much higher, and so you can find the growth rate also is much higher. So now usually you will find one more difference between the population of the developed countries. Here you can see here on your screen, developed countries and developing countries. One very important difference, if you see here, the developed countries, there you will find the population growth rate is very low. The growth rate of population is very low. So we can say the slow growth rate of population, that is also one index to measure the development in the country. At the same time, if you find the population growth rate in developing countries is much higher. So this is one difference you can find in the developed and developing countries. Developed countries like in USA, in France, in Britain, in Spain, in Canada, the population growth rate is very low. But the countries like in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, you will find the population growth rate is much higher. This is a very, very big difference. Now this thing also affect what thing? Now this affect the physical and social environment in that country. Physical and social environment. What is the meaning of physical and social environment? Now let me explain you. Physical and the social environment means the social or social status of the people living in that country. Now you will find their thought pattern, their thought actually you will find in the developing countries. Now they usually are having a much broad thought. Their thought actually, their thinking pattern is much broader. Now there you will find actually the women's also, they have equal right than the males. But in developing countries where the literacy rate is also very less, population growth is very very high, there you can find the condition of women actually is very worse. Now this is one example I am telling you that shows about the social status. But one more thing you will find, the social status of the people in their thinking, in their behavior, the way in which they live. We call it the quality of life. Now if you'll find actually one bank manager, now if you go to visit some bank manager's house, you will see the quality of life is totally different. If you visit some doctors, MBBS doctor's house, you will find the quality of life in the house is much higher. But when you visit to the house of some people actually who are working as a labor in factory, now you can see a very very vast difference between the quality of life a doctor lives and the quality of life a labor lives. Now that is the main thing actually is the money. But one more thing actually is important, that is the social status, the thinking and the education together. Same thing if you go in the developed countries like in America and USA and European countries. Now if you visit to some labor's house even, and you can see the condition, the quality of life will be much better than the quality of life of the labor in India. Now that is one difference. Now let's see about the life expectancy. I explained you, we have discussed about the life expectancy. So life expectancy means the average age the people live in some country. Now let's see one table here, 2.5. This life expectancy is taken from the year 2013. Now in USA the average age the people live there is 79.8 years. So we can say 80 years. So the maximum age a person lives is 80 years. In France you can see 82.3 years. Japan it is very very high, 84.6 years. And now in India you will see it is only 70 years. Now this is called life expectancy. Now if you see the same thing in Nepal, now that will be much lower. It will be even less than 60. Now why it is? So this is everything. So many factors are there. We have already seen. What factors? The literacy rate. Another factor, the quality of life. Then the development which is going in those countries. So altogether there are so many factors actually which affect the life expectancy in these countries. Well, now let's see about the last topic is the population pyramid. Now what is a population pyramid? Now let me show you some figure first of all. Now if you see here, this is one figure that shows about the population pyramid of United Kingdom. And another figure, this figure 2.15, it shows about the population pyramid in Niger. Niger is one country in western part of Africa. And here is another figure that shows about here. This is the population pyramid of Saudi Arabia. Now what does it mean? First of all, let me explain you what does the different things tell about. So if you see here, first of all, there are the two things here. These blocks actually are shown in the navy blue and the blue colors. So that shows about the male population. This shows about the male population. Another side, These blocks are shown either in maroon or pinkish color, and it shows about the female population. Then next is the, at the below, if you find here, it is given here 0, then here it is given 0.4, 0.8, 1.2, 1.6, this is 2. What is this? This is the population in millions. So this shows about population in millions. Now suppose this shows how much million? 1.2 million. Okay. Now next is one block. If you see here, it is given here 0 to 5. So this block shows the age group of people between 0 to 5. Next group is 5 to 10. Another group 10 to 15. Then 15 to 20. Like this, 5-year age difference is taken up to 100 years. So here, suppose we take one block. This one block, if we take, so this is the population of, first of all, female population. That is the age group between 0 to 5. And how much population it is? It shows about, it is 1.2 million population. So in Saudi Arabia in 2010, the female population between the 0 to 5 age group, that is the very very small children, infant actually, their population was 1.2 million, slightly more than 1.2 million. So now if we see here, these are the different categories. So this side, if you find here, this is the male population between 0 to 5, and this population is about, I think, 1.3 million. So these different blocks, they show the different population in the different age group. This is the female population, and this side the male population. Now this thing you can find in all the figures. Now if you find here, all these figures actually, they look like pyramid. So when this population is shown actually in by the help of these bars, different categories, different class of population is shown. So, and as they forms the pyramid, that's why this is called population pyramid. Now for this actually, we usually define it as a novel method of understanding the population composition of a country is to study the age sex pyramid, is known as population pyramid. So this question can be asked, what do you mean by population pyramid? So this will be the answer. Well, you will come to know, it is given in your book. I will tell you again. Now let's study this population pyramid one by one. Now what does it mean? So first of all, let us take an example of this population pyramid of United Kingdom. Now already it is explained here, but let me explain it once again here. So here, if you find here, I told you this bar that shows first of all the female population between 0 to 4. It is given here 0 to 4. So this population shows between 0 to 4. This is female population, and this side it is a male population. Now usually you will find here, if you find this population is much lower, but in the middle age here you will see these bars are much higher, they are much bigger than this. So what does it mean? It means actually the birth rate was very very high. Why these number of people are so large number? So that shows actually the high birth rate in 60s and 70s. In the year 1960s and between 70, the birth rate was very very high. But now at present actually this birth rate has gone down. So next, if you see here, if you see the population between 85 and 89. Now if you see here, these bars are bigger, not compared to these bars, but if you compare these bar with this diagram, Niger population, now if you see here between 80 to 85, it's very less, it's nil, almost nil, between 80 to 85. Now here in Saudi Arabia, if you see here, between 80 to 85, it is still very very nil. Means the old age population is very very less. That means the life expectancy in Saudi Arabia and Niger is very very low. But when we take the example of United Kingdom, the life expectancy is very, very high. So like this actually, we study the population pyramid. now, now let's see here about, let's study here the Niger population. So if you see here about the Niger population, this diagram, if you see actually, most of the population actually are under 5 years old. So here look here, between 0 to 5, this group is very, very large. Female population, the infant population is 1.6 million. And here if you see here, the male population is also more than 1.6, it is 1.7 million. Then in the age group of 5 to 10 also, this is more than 1.2, both in the male and in female also. So usually we will find here the population under 15 years is much higher. Most of the population usually they are below 15 to 20 years. These bars are so big, but as you go up you will find these bars, they just becoming smaller and smaller. So it looks like a very perfect pyramid. So what does it shows? This shows that half of the people they dies before they reach 30 years. Half of the population they die as they reach more than 30 years. It means the mortality rate is very, very high here. Life expectancy is very low and the birth rate is very high. Now all these things shows what thing? The development in this country, Niger, is very slow, because now we can't kept any country in the group of undeveloped countries, but actually this Niger actually can be kept in this group. Now there is no group, such group is there. So here we can say that the development actually in Niger is very slow. Now next let's see here about another pyramid. This is one more pyramid, shows about the Saudi Arabia, the population of Saudi Arabia. And here if you'll find here, there are the large amount of male people live there. Now you will see here this side, these bars are much bigger than the bars here in the female side. It means the male population is much higher in comparison to female population. Now Saudi Arabia, all of you know, it is a Muslim country. So usually all the families they prefer the male child. So it means actually the female infanticide, the female feticide is very high. Means the female, the baby, the girl child, they are being aborted. So this is the one thing. Another thing if you'll find here, one more story. If you see here, the birth rate, if you see here, is less. Birth rate is less because if you'll find here, the people usually between 25 to 30 and 35, it's much more. They are much more. Now that shows the infant mortality rate is high. Infant mortality rate means the very, very young children, death of the very, very young children. Young children are called infants. So infant mortality rate is much higher. Now this all things shows what thing? This doesn't show about the development, but one thing it shows about the social status. The social status in this country actually you can find, it shows because the females are very less, male population is more. Now that shows there is a discrimination between the female and male, and the social status is not so good. Means the condition of the female is very bad in this country. Well, so this is how usually we study this population pyramid. So we have gone through the 3 population pyramids, and now let's see 3 more population pyramid here. And here you will find here the example of, this is the one pyramid of Bangladesh, another one is the India, and next one you will see about Japan. So if you see here, in India usually the pyramid is almost perfect, but one thing if you will find, the female side the bars are smaller than the males. It means the female population is less than the male population. And if you find here the population between 0 to 4, here the infant, the population is 52, this is 52 but more than 52, so it will be 54 million. But again if you find here the young infant between the age group of 0 to 4 in the male section, now this is touching to 65, this is 64. So here it is 54 and here it is 64 million. Now that shows the discrimination between the female and the males. That means actually in India also you will find the social structure, the condition, the social condition. Most of the families they actually demand or they want the boy child. So they don't want the girl child. In most cases these girl child actually they are aborted. Well, this shows about the social structure in this country. Now same thing you can find here in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh if you see the lower bars are much higher. That shows actually the birth rate is much higher. But same thing, this side, the female side, the bars are small, but the male side the bars are much bigger. That shows the same story. That is the discrimination between the female and the male. And you will find at the higher level the bars are very very small in the both section, not only in Bangladesh but also in India. Now that shows the life expectancy is not very high, very less actually. But the same thing if you will find here one more population pyramid, and this shows about the Japan. And here you will find the old age population is much higher, but here the young age the bar actually are much smaller. Why? Because here the life expectancy is much higher here. Young people they don't want to get married, they don't want child. Conditions are totally different here. So this is, we have seen the different pyramids, and this chapter is now over, and already the time is exceeded. So let's finish this chapter today. So this chapter is over now. Very soon I will try to give you the notes. All the best and goodbye.